How are we going, everybody? Doing some hedging today. Not showing off, but you know, just saying, have a look. Not bad. Actually, this is Ligustrum undulatum. Honestly, it's a weed in my books. It grows like a weed. I hedged this probably about 3 weeks ago, and it put on. You want to see how much growth it had on? I haven't finished. Give you an idea. Up there, have a look. I can't reach up there. It's just above my head height down there. See, it's just above my head height down there. All right, folks. So yeah, so this is what I'm doing today. I haven't finished because I've been stopping and starting. Quick couple of tips in the garden. Roses, time to prune back. Look out for black spot. That's what they're going to get again. This is its third flush now. Sorry, actually that's the second flush. We've got one more to come. Hopefully the weather doesn't knock it out. Over here it's coming on. We've done the rose pruning on climbers. If you haven't seen that, scroll through our videos. If you're on YouTube, you'll be able to find the page there on roses. I think it may be as general garden tips, but rose climbing pruning or rose pruning on climbing roses. I'll say that again. Pruning climbing roses, that's better. Come along this way. So fruit trees, time to prune them back. I've said it before. I'm going to do it soon. All these have to be cut back. Apricot, apples, pears. If you've harvested, these are the Asian pears I mean, because they do fruit on earlier. You may get, if you remember, we had the canker here, or scab, or pear scab on this. We were worried it was something else, but anyway, but look at this, we're getting another cycle of flowers. That's quite typical on these trees. They're going to turn out to be nothing significant. They're just going to bloom. It's okay, it brings the bees in again, and we still keep the nice pollinators going. You may see a couple of fruit, but there won't be anything, you know, sustainable to be able to eat or sweet. But over here, I want to also mention the weather we've had. I know it's been wet, generally wetter than usual in the seasons, but still pretty dry in some areas for us as far as garden beds are concerned. I've been sitting around looking at these courtyard gardens, and there's four quarters, and each one's got a citrus tree, and each tree basically had struggled to get growing in here because of the harsh climate we have. But I can proudly say that all 4 of them have kicked on. So you can see the new growth coming on there. There's a mandarin down over there to the far distance, and there's another orange down there that literally died back down to the ground, and they've all settled into the ground, and now they're growing beautifully. So these beds have been irrigated, and I'm going to actually get on the topic about irrigation as we go on. I know it's going to be out of season. You want to know about it more in the hot weather, but it's a lot easier to work in the cooler weathers, in the cooler months like autumn for us. If you're watching us, we're in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. And during autumn, I'm going to overhaul this irrigation because we've got some new products coming out in irrigation that's going to be quite impressive on how you can irrigate quite effectively and not waste too much water. But that's another topic. And oh, that's right. We haven't had a look at your tomatoes. Bugger me, let's go there. What are we doing? Come. Over here, I actually threw some seeds from a discarded fruit, a tomato that is. I think it was a big malacca. So I dropped it here and it clustered up. You know, there's a little forest of tomatoes that grew out of here. Don't look at the back. They're all self-germinated, by the way. So don't judge my garden, tomato growing. I'm doing this purposely to see how they perform as a bush. You know, a lot of growers don't actually prune their tomatoes. I like to let them bush out a lot. This is what happens. Look at this, all this dieback in the middle here, right? This is terrible. It shouldn't happen, you know, and if you have one dry day, think about it, you know, I mean, the more leaves you have on the plant, the more work the roots are going to do to be able to sustain all that foliage alive. And if you get a hot day, and we've had typically lots of hot days here in summer, they turn to crisp, and that's what will happen to your plant. Not enough airflow through the middle as well will, you know, start developing mildew. It is late in the season for a lot of people. Here, this is mildew. Have a look. See all this stuff here, all these spots? Yeah, that's a fungus. It's growing. That's because of the lack of airflow. Look, in here, up here. Can you see up here carefully? I'll make some room. Look, it's even more there, right? This is naturally occurring. Now I've got that refractometer to test is it the Brix? I think that's right, the Brix level. So if this is sitting over 12, it should be, you know, self-sustainable, no disease or insect attack. And obviously it isn't. So if I did a test on that, I'll guarantee you it'll be sitting around 4, 5 or 6 maximum. But what I did here as well, the sowed tomatoes that I had here that germinated, and they all grew this big, literally this big, maybe not as firm as this one here, slightly thinner in the stem. I just yanked them out the other day, about 3 days ago, and I just shoved them in there. Have a look at this. Oh, that's one of the old ties. buried. These are still wilting because they've just gone through a warm day of sun, so they're still standing up. So this is 2 days, and I planted some over here as well. This one here, now I've got about 3 or 4 in here, folks. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4. They're standing up. They're going to come good. Now, remember, they were just pulled out, and this is not the size of plant that you should be transplanting, especially tomatoes. I know they're tough as nails. I know it's very late in the season, but I'm doing it still because these are the little trials that we conduct here. I did take them out, and they are planted right to the bottom here. So what we've got in here is our new compost that we're going to release soon. We're doing our trials with it, coming up with a name for it, but we've got the compost in here as well. So we took the top pot off, planted right to the bottom of the tomato, and then fed the top back over the top because the base of the pot's been cut off, and then we backfilled it with our compost. And I have applied a little bit of superfood on these ones here. Now I'm also going to give them a little bit of liquid gold, and when you do feed a plant from transplanting, always go half strength, especially if you dug it out of the ground. If it's in the pot, from pot to pot it's not so bad, but when you're transplanting a plant that's been disturbed in the root zone, you need to go half strength with whatever fertilizer you're applying so you don't cause any damage or dieback on it. We'll come back and visit these in a couple of days and see how they're progressing, because they were sitting upright. That one is doing really well. You know, these are doing not bad at the moment. Considering 2 days, if they were going to curl over, they would have been flat as a tack by now. Now, the superfood that we're using here, folks, is available on our website as well. Now, it is 3AW weekend for me, folks. If you're watching this just as it's been uploaded, switch over to 693 AM dial, Gardening Weekends with me and Darren James, talking about all things gardening. Give us a call if you've got some gardening questions, problems, or even some great gardening tips. We'd love to hear from you. And because it is the weekend, as you all know by now, it's our 3AW big weekend sale. So you're going to get up to 85% off everything across the board, basically. Up to 85% off, meaning everything is discounted. Our superfood, our new Eradicate eco-friendly snail bait is on discounted stuff. We've got the refractometer 4-in-1s, whatever you need for your garden, all the great products at better prices every day. And the coupon code word is 3AW. Enjoy your gardening, tune into 3AW, and I'll see you tomorrow. From me, Vasily, Maresi.